Hey, what's going on, Who That Nation? It is yours truly, TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. And this is a State of the Saints podcast live edition on YouTube. And thank you for tuning in. I know this is short notice, but wanted to go live on YouTube at least once this week, just to interact with the Who That Nation. A lot of things we need to talk about, a lot of things that need to be discussed when it comes to the New Orleans Saints. Seems like the New Orleans Saints have been dominating the sports media tabloids as of late, man, especially all the stuff going down with Drew Brees and Taysom Hill and Teddy Bridgewater, people wondering where they're going to go. And not to mention Von Bell, was in the news also because he says he wants to play for the New Orleans Saints. And, of course, we already know that Von Bell is up for a contract. So, but this show isn't about, me per se. Normally, I try to dominate, most of the conversation or whatever like that, and I answer questions from people. But I do want to give you all the opportunity. You have the floor. You can go in any direction you want to go in. And you can also call in 504-354-0165, 504-354-0165. You can chime in. Let me know what you think. Let me know what you think about Taysom Hill, Drew Brees, Teddy Bridgewater, wherever route you want to go. I'm all for it. But I will go ahead and get started. I will say to everybody out there, if you have not already, you can check out my draft profile videos that I've done. I have done 4 installments of that, and I have plenty more to come on possible draftees that the Saints could possibly draft in this upcoming draft. I said draft about 4 or 5 times in one statement. But anyway, it's a lot of guys out there. Probably some of you probably heard, some you probably never heard of. But I've done 4 installments. I think I did one on Laviska's Chenault. I did one on Justin Jefferson. I did one on Levette Hill, and then I did one on Kenneth Murray today. So lot of good quality players that the Saints can draft in this upcoming draft. So I'm excited about that. And I'm also excited to see if the Saints are going to move around in the draft and try to be aggressive and try to get people. So I'm interested in that. So once again, if you want to chime in, you want to call in, you can dial 504-354-0165. And try to see if I can put that into this in the chat. 1 second. All right. So that's the number right there. I got it in the chat right now. So if you want to call in, want to give comments, and so if you have any questions or any statements or whatever, just let me know. But let's go ahead and get started about this whole Taysom Hill thing. First and foremost, Taysom Hill came out. I think we already know by now. He spoke to the AP, which is the guy's quarterback, and a lot of people, I think, they kind of misconstrued what he said, and it made it seem like he was threatening to leave the Saints. I didn't take it from looking at that article. I did not. I feel like he's a guy that's confident in his abilities. He's a guy that believes in himself, and he feels that if the Saints don't look at him as a franchise quarterback, he will go somewhere else where he can prove he is a franchise quarterback. And honestly, I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't have a problem with a guy who doesn't have confidence. That does have confidence in himself. I don't have a problem with that. And I think that a lot of people in the Who That Nation are upset because this man does have confidence. But if he didn't have the type of confidence in himself and in his abilities, would we like him as much as we do? That's the question. I don't have an issue with Taysom Hill. I do, however, got a lot of issues with people in the Who That Nation that's judging this man, and they ain't never seen this guy under center and play a snap as a starter in the NFL. And I feel like we owe this guy that. It's so many times that we, as fans, we think that we know a guy as an open and shut case, but we don't know. I'm open to giving a guy the benefit of the doubt. And I'll tell you why. I said it this morning on the live on Facebook. I said I'm willing to give him opportunity because I learned from my mistakes. I learned from the whole Teddy Bridgewater situation. You know, when Teddy Bridgewater went out there and he didn't play really well for the, in that Rams game, and he was out there playing, so in another game, and I was like, I don't think he's starting quarterback. And then eventually, every single week, Sean Payton started to trust him more and more. And I was around here eating crow. I know y'all remember that if y'all been following the State of the Saints podcast for a while. Now that situation has taught me, okay? That situation has taught me to not judge a book by its cover and give guys opportunities to fall flat on their face. And I'm willing to give Taysom Hill an opportunity to fall flat on his face. Just as simple as that. I'm not going to sit out here and just say the guy sucks and I don't know if he sucks. I'm not going to say this guy can't be a franchise quarterback if I don't know if he can be a franchise quarterback. And we don't know if he can be a franchise quarterback because he never got the opportunity to show that he is a franchise quarterback. So I'm not going to get on that train right there, and I'm not going to persecute the guy when he hasn't shown me anything except for a couple plays, and that's it. I feel like he's a 30-year-old quarterback. He's a guy who came into the NFL a little bit late because he went to BYU, and one of the requirements upon graduation of BYU, you have to go on a missionary journey, do like community service work. So he did that for a couple of years. So he came into the NFL around 25, 26 years old. So I don't feel like people have to, hold that against him. I mean, he was doing his duty, you know what I'm saying, as the storming Mormon that he is. So I don't have a problem with that at all. I don't think that his age has an issue with that. I know a lot of quarterbacks got a late start. I think a lot of people forget that Aaron Rodgers got a late start. I think he was around 29 years old when he got his start. People don't remember that because, because I guess how well he's played. But Brett Favre started for at least about 3 or 4 more years with the Packers before they decided to go with Aaron Rodgers. But I'm not saying he's Aaron Rodgers. I'm not saying he has the arm talent. He possesses the skill of Aaron Rodgers, but I'm not upset that he's a 30-year-old quarterback. And honestly, a guy that been in the league as long as he have, I kind of trust those guys versus a guy that might have to come in, need a little bit of work, because we all know if you get yourself a young quarterback, if you don't go the route of Teddy Bridgewater, you're going to have to coach this guy up. In the game, the game is probably going to be a little bit fast for him in the beginning, and it starts to slow down, unless he has Patrick Mahomes type talent or some of these other young quarterbacks that came in taking the league by storm. But still, you're still going to have to go through some growing pains with them, and it's going to be a lot of head scratching and frustration dealing with a young quarterback. But I open up the floor to you all. I'm going to be reading from the chat. And once again, if you want to donate to the State of the Saints podcast, you can do so by hitting the $ down below for the super chats. Once again, thank y'all for being a part of the live. And without further ado, I'm going to read the chat. What's going on, Dalton? Dalton was first. Thank you very much. Iceman TJ, think Taysom Hill is the guy. I'm willing to give him a chance. But like I told you before, I don't think Sean looks at him as a franchise quarterback. Iceman, I mean, I understand that, and I get it. I get why people say that. The big question on everybody's mind in the Who Dat Nation is this: if he's a franchise quarterback, if Sean Payton consider him as a franchise quarterback, then why go out here and get Teddy Bridgewater? Why go out here and get him? If you already got a franchise quarterback in-house. I get it. But I'm willing to give him a chance and see what he has. And I'm not just saying look, I don't want anybody to think I'm just saying hand the keys over to the dude. If he goes out there and he competes versus a Teddy Bridgewater versus a Jordan Love, if they draft him, then give him the job. Okay. But if he does not beat out that person, then you can't just give him the job just because he's Taysom Hill. Give him opportunity to earn a position. If he earns the position, then once again, chimed in, says, drop the number in the chat. TJ, you said it too fast, OG. I'll put it in there. It should be in there now, Iceman. Should be in there. 504-354-0165. 504-354-0165. What's up, Choke? Okay, we already got a call. Hello, who's this?
talking with Ice Man.
Hey, what's going on, Ice Man? How you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man.
That's good, man. What you got for me?
Yeah, man, I got a line of questions, man. A line of concerns I need to get off my chest real quick.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, man. The floor is yours, man.
I don't even know. There's no other way to say this, folks. There's no other way. I apologize in advance, folks. I'm done with Marcus Williams, man. I'm done with Marcus Williams,
no.
I'm sorry, man. I tried. I listened to the podcast. I listened to you, Deuce, Wyndham, Big Q. I mean, I listen to everybody. Give them a chance. I'm done with Marcus Williams. I'm done with the Williams and Williams law firm. Him and PJ Williams, man. It's over, man. It's over. You can't tell me we can't get a safety better than Marcus Williams. I understand that the man get interceptions. I understand that the man is the ball hawk. But you got to tackle. You got to. That's fundamental on defense. I'm sorry, folks. I understand that he may be a fan favorite. People hot and cold on him. I'm consistent. I'm out on Marcus Williams. That's number one.
Whoa. Now you have to tell us. Now you have to tell us what made you come to this conclusion. Like what made you come to this conclusion for you to call the State of Saints podcast on this day? What is this? The 12th of February, 2020, for you to say that you out on Marcus Williams. What have you seen or have not seen from him to say I wash my hands with him?
Let's just start it off. Let's start off in 2017. I don't think he's been right since 2017. I don't think he's been mentally right since 2017. I think that has scarred him in a way where the dude is scared to make a mistake. Go on the team because you're the last line of defense. I'm sorry, folks. I'm sorry. If you are safety, I'm not expecting this man to be Ed Reed or Troy Polamalu hitting people and knocking the ball out. But listen, man. I understand if he has to tackle somebody, normally that's because a linebacker or a lineman has missed their job, and so he has to tackle. I understand that. I'm not saying that. And here's the thing. And I want to ask you this, TJ. Why is it that on the defensive side of the ball, players have to go to other teams to get better? Why can't they come to the Saints and be great when they get to the Saints? Like, why do they have to go to other teams to spread their wings? I don't understand that. It's like the Saints, as long as I've been watching the Saints, we can put together a good defense, but they never take that next step. I don't understand that.
Right. Well, Iceman, all the thing I can say is this, all right? I will agree with you. I feel like that whole Minneapolis Miracle kind of messed with his psyche going into year 2. I did see little bits of improvement in year 3 as far as his confidence and him being, flying across the field. For a good little minute, man, he was ranked as one of the highest rated safeties in the NFL. But I do feel like when mistakes can occur, I don't think he rises to the occasion. I don't think he got that Minneapolis Miracle fully out of his mind. Now it's like you said, I feel like he just thinks about possibly making a mistake. And I think that if the Minneapolis Miracle didn't end the way that it did, if he would have missed the tackle and somebody would have tackled him and it would have set up a field goal or something like that, I feel like it would have got salvaged. But the way that he wiped out Ken Crawley and everybody's like, that's a play that's going to be showed. I hate to say it, but it's going to be showed over and over again. It's going to be like the immaculate reception. It's going to be like the Joe Montana pass to Danny Clark in the back and end zone. That's going to be like one of them plays that's going to be forever embedded in the minds of the NFL. Like it's going to be one of those plays that's going to be shown. So it's not like it's one of those plays where it's like out of sight, out of mind. They show that at least 10 times a year since it happened. You know what I'm saying? So it's not the thing about it is he has to come to grips, Iceman, that the play not going anywhere. Okay. Now let's go ahead and address the whole tackling situation. I 100% agree. Here, I call him the most infamous knee tackler in the NFL. I call him that for a reason because he always goes after people need, rather it be a quarterback, rather it be a tight end, a receiver. He always goes at the knees. I don't know if I'm willing to give up on this dude yet. I'm telling you, man, because what I see in him, and maybe, you know what I'm saying, maybe I'm wrong, but what I see in him is what I seen in Malcolm Jenkins all them years. He plays just like Malcolm Jenkins. He's like Malcolm Jenkins with better hands. It wasn't until Malcolm Jenkins went to Philadelphia that we started seeing the dog and the savage that he is, man. Now, to make no mistake about it, people can talk about Malcolm Jenkins all they want to right now, but when him and Roman Harper was in the backfield, people know the two biggest liabilities in the secondary was those two. So when I see him, I see a lot of Malcolm Jenkins. You know what I'm saying? And he probably going to have to go somewhere else, though, Iceman, in order for him to get better. I hate to say it, but I think so, because I think that what the Saints ask him to do and what he's doing, they're okay with. And I feel like if he was to go somewhere else, they probably will bring another version out of him because he wouldn't have got drafted by that team. You know, he would be genuinely competing for a job. So that's the way I feel about it, man. I don't know, man. I like the kid, man. I think he has a lot of promise. It's just something missing. I think it has a lot to do with that Minneapolis Miracle, though. I really agree with you on that one, man. Anything else?
Yeah, I wanted to talk about this whole Sean Payton thing, and you're right, man. I'm not used to seeing the face of the media headlines. I don't know what this is about, but
yeah.
I think, in my opinion, Sean Payton has completely fumbled the baton pass from a Hall of Fame quarterback to I think he's fumbled this transition, man.
Right.
This is not how you transition, man. You don't do. This tells me that Sean Payton was not prepared for this.
Right.
He wasn't prepared for this because you don't let because right now it feels like they don't have any leverage, like decide to come back.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I mean, you basically alienated Teddy Bridgewater because Sean Payton's over here trumpeting that Taysom Hill. I mean, I'm not disrespecting Taysom Hill. I like the guy as a player. But I agree with what somebody said on the earlier podcast. We need to see more of him under center. That's all I'm going to say about Taysom Hill. We need to see more of him under center. I don't understand why Sean would rather have Taysom when he has a more refined product in Teddy. I mean, you can say it's about the money, but if Drew decides to not come back, and I don't know why he wouldn't want Teddy, but then at that cost, you probably will lose Taysom because he wants to start anyway.
Yeah.
You know, so
well,
it's really good.
Well, I want to say this. And I know I probably, if you listen to my podcast and videos in the past, I've said this on several occasions. This is the thing, folks, and the organization will never ever admit this, but they did not expect Teddy Bridgewater to play this season. They didn't. Like that. That's just what it is. They did not expect Teddy Bridgewater to play this season. They expected him to be the backup quarterback. Think about this. Drew Brees is an Iron Man. He don't miss games. He does not miss games. That's something that you can count on. Rather you talk about Drew Brees' performance down the stretch over the past couple of years or whatever, he has been available. So they thought that they can easily just kind of add Teddy Bridgewater in and set him up as the successor, because we got to think about this, folks. If he didn't play those 5 games, the only thought that we would have of him is that Week 17 game against the Carolina Panthers, when he couldn't throw the football, when he was looking, kind of shook in the pocket. I mean, that's the only image we have. Now, you can say, the offensive line wasn't there. They got a lot of backups off the street just to get through the game, whatever. But what the media saw and what other teams saw was Week 17. The problem was when Drew got hurt those 5 games, they saw that they can win with Teddy Bridgewater. And because of that, it put the Saints in a precarious position. It put them in a position now you have to pay this guy. Because even I think they would have went into this season wanted to pay him, but it would have been a certain amount of money they would have paid him. Now, because he won those 5 games, now that he have 9 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, now he threw for 1,300 yards. Now you're put in a position where, hey, this guy can be a starting quarterback and I can win with this guy. We got to give him starting quarterback money. Now his agent can go out here and make business moves for Teddy Bridgewater, and it puts the Saints' backs against the wall. So even if Drew Brees was to come back, they still could have signed Teddy season, and that would have been it. Teddy Bridgewater, the way that he played was the issue. That's the issue, folks. That's just what it is. That is the problem. Like people wondering why Teddy Bridgewater isn't in the conversation. It's because he plays so well. He showed and stuff like that now because he realizes, well, if Drew leaves or he retires, most likely Taysom Hill is going to be our guy because we're not going to bring back Teddy Bridgewater because Teddy Bridgewater, the agent, could easily say, man, well, let's get him $30 million. And somebody will pay him $30 million to be their starting quarterback. Believe it or not. I mean, it's just what it is. He showed that he can learn a system. He showed that he don't turn the ball over. He showed that he can make good decisions. And he showed he can improvise. He can scramble out of the pocket. Those are some key components that modern-day quarterbacks need. So that's the reason why we're in this situation right now, Ice Man. It had a lot to do with the fact that Teddy Bridgewater showed that he can ball. And that's the reason why we don't have conversations about him. Like I hate when people like be talking about stuff like, oh, they just don't trust him as a starter. Oh, because he's black or I mean, it don't have nothing to do with that. It's just the fact that he balled out. He balled so good. Exactly. I mean, think about this, man. You know how people was talking about Teddy Bridgewater. Man, he can't play. Man, this guy changed like the whole narrative about himself among New Orleans Saints fans. This man had everybody in the stadium chanting his name after he threw 4 touchdowns in a game. You know what I'm saying? Like, so if we change the narrative, what do you think the media did? What do you think those coaches did? When everybody thought Drew Brees was going down, you heard the talk. Man, the Saints not gonna make the playoffs. Man, the Saints, they lucky if they win another game. This man won 5. This man went undefeated down the stretch. I mean, how can you argue with that? I mean, somebody, that's just what it is. Like that's the reason why we're in this situation right now. But if it was up to me, like this would be a no-brainer. I would make Teddy Bridgewater starting quarterback, but it is a business at the end of the day. And he said it, man. He said, I took a gamble on myself, and it looked like his gamble won, man, and he about to cash in. I mean, I see him maybe playing for the Chargers. I do. I see him being the next quarterback of the Los Angeles Chargers. That's what I see in the future. In the future of Teddy Bridgewater, I don't see him playing in New England. I don't see him going to an NFC South team. I see him in Los Angeles. That's why I see him.
Well, I appreciate
on YouTube, man. Y'all check out Iceman T on YouTube, man. Has a really good perspective, good knowledge of the game. Big, huge fan of the New Orleans Saints. And I agree with what he's saying, man. With a lot of what he's talking about, especially with the Teddy Bridgewater thing. Like, I feel Teddy Bridgewater should be the starting quarterback of the Saints. I don't feel like he gets mentioned enough, but I understand. I completely understand that, and I'm not mad at him. Like it's just what it is, folks. It was one of those things where the Saints took a gamble, and the gamble it paid off, and it didn't pay off. It paid off because they got him as a backup quarterback, and he came into the game and he played really, really well. And they lost because he played really well. So it was a double-edged sword. It helped the Saints and it hurt them at the same time. It helped them win those games, but it hurt them in the offseason, like y'all seeing right now, to possibly re-signing him. So whatever decision they come up with, whatever happened to Teddy Bridgewater, I'm not mad at him, man. I mean, I'm always gonna be a fan of the guy. I mean, how can you not like Teddy Bridgewater, man? Let's see. Dada Saints number 1 says, my thing is, if Taysom wins the quarterback job through preseason and camp, he deserves it. But franchise quarterback and you haven't played a full game by yourself as a quarterback, yeah. I feel like this, Dada. That's a good point. But I would get this guy a chance. I mean, think about this. Rookie quarterbacks coming to the league, right? Rookie quarterback coming to the league. You don't know what they're gonna do. Now you see them in college, but that don't mean they're gonna ball out. I can name several quarterbacks in college that balled out. Matt Leinart, Vince Young. I mean, so many other guys. Cordell Jones, even though he's doing his XFL thing. I mean, JT Barrett. So many guys balled out in college, and then they can't transition to the pros. So you can't just say, like, oh, he didn't take a snap as a starter. Well, I mean, if a rookie comes in and he comes in, to start for your squad, we can't have that type of mind frame. The only difference is the fact that he's been in the league as long as he has. And honestly, now he has, knowledge under his belt. I mean, he's been in a system with the Saints going. I think this is going to be his third or fourth year, one or the other. But so, I mean, he familiarized himself with the playbook. He understands the players that they have on the team, and he understands the terminology. So if he goes out there and he stinks it up, then we have our answer. If he goes out there and ball out, we have our answer. DLP 2600 says Saints need to look at cornerback Byron Jones and Logan Ryan as the second cornerback. Janoris Jenkins is 32 years old, and if you do deal longer than 2 years, probably not good enough, especially $8 to $10 million per year. Okay, thank you very much. As far as Byron Jones, let me talk a little bit about Byron Jones. I like him a lot. He's a big physical guy on the outside, really good in press coverage. Season before last, not this past season, but season before last, he had his best season. And this season right here, he kind of fell off. Teams kind of, knew how to deal with him. I like Byron Jones a lot, but I'm not really sold on him, man. I'm not sold on him at all. I think he holds a lot. I think that he gets away with murder quite a bit. And I don't think he's really fast enough to be, on the opposite side. Can he be a number one corner? Absolutely. It depends on how you play him. As far as Logan Ryan is concerned, I like him. He's a really good player. But, man, I'm kind of over the whole going sign a free agent cornerback. I feel like the Saints need to get themselves a young corner. I feel like Janoris Jenkins, even though he is 32 years old, DLP, I feel like you still can get a couple good years up out of him, maybe 2 or 3, and you get yourself a young cornerback, a guy that can be a diamond in the rough, that can possibly, play in a slot, also play on the outside. The Saints need a player that can actually do those multiple positions. The problem is that the New Orleans Saints on the defensive side of football, when you're talking about the secondary, they get guys that can only play in the slot. And then when a guy gets hurt, he goes on the outside and he gets posterized. You need a guy that can play on the outside as well as the inside. And I think the Saints need to go that route. Get yourself somebody that can play on the inside just to start off with. But if somebody get hurt, because it's going to happen, man, the secondary, the cornerbacks and the safeties are one of those prime positions to get somebody injured. So it happens every single year. So you want depth. You get yourself somebody that can line up in the slot, and you get somebody that can line up on the outside, and you should be good. Stop worrying about, hey, man, this guy can be a good slot corner, because somebody is going to get hurt. It happens every single year. It happened with the Seahawks. It happened with the Eagles. It happened with so many of those other teams out there that made the playoffs and end up biting them in the butt. The Saints need to get guys that can play multiple positions. That's why I like C.J. Gardner-Johnson as much as I do, because not only can he play the safety position, he's a hard hitter, he's physical, and he can, go up against those tight ends, but you can also put him in a slot, and you don't have to worry about any type of drop in your secondary. So the Saints need to go that route. That's why I say they need to get somebody like Lavert Hill out of Michigan. Lavert Hill's a guy that can play multiple positions, a guy that can play on the outside. He's a smaller guy, so he can play in the slot, but, he can also play on the outside as well, and he has really good ball instincts. That's what you need. We need to get away from these guys that only are one-dimensional, like the P.J. Williams and the Patrick Robinsons of the world, because somebody is going to get hurt. Like, it's just what it is, man. Lattimore gets hurt often. P.J. Williams get hurt often. Eli Apple gets hurt. Man, these guys miss games. So you want to have guys in a rotation that that you don't have to worry about too much of a drop. I mean, you're going to have some drop because you're talking about a starter leaving a game and a backup coming in. You're going to have a little drop, but you want to have a guy that can come in and can do a suitable job until that starter gets back. But I agree with you on the Janoris Jenkins situation. You know, he is 32 years old. You know, that could be a problem, but he's still playing at a high level. And the way that the New York Giants have played over the past couple of years, I mean, honestly, he may be 32 years old, but probably his football life is probably around 28 or 29 because how trash and hot garbage their defense have been over the past couple of years. So you might be able to get some, you know, a couple more good years up out of him. Let's see. Wells was a terrible fit for him. It was good for us because we got Max Unger all those years, and now we got Eric McCoy, so no drop there. But he is a guy that is a wide receiver masquerading as a tight end, and he got exposed in a run-dependent offense that is the Seattle Seahawks. And he struggled because you couldn't have him on the field a lot of times because he struggled in a blocking game. But a couple years later, I mean, he had a really good year statistically before he ended up leaving and going to the Green Bay Packers. He got a little bit better. He had a really good season. I think he had like 16 touchdowns or something like that, or something around that, you know, something around that. He had a really good year before he left and went to the Green Bay Packers. But honestly, he's a mere shell of himself now. I don't feel like the Green Bay Packers know how to use him. Honestly, I think some of those injuries are catching up with him, and I don't know how long he has left. But I think the biggest mistake he ever made was trying to debo some more money out of the New Orleans Saints because I think we all saw that the New Orleans Saints actually made him who he was. I think he had a lot of talent, but the Saints knew how to utilize it. And he hurt himself trying to go out here thinking he was big time when he wasn't. I mean, I saw it. I never really been a fan of Jimmy Graham. You know, I never really been a fan of him, even when he was out there playing. Anytime the Saints going up against some subpar, talent, he'll go off about 140 some odd yards. If he going up against an elite corner or something like that, I mean, he just get bullied, and get punked around. So that bothers me in a guy. I like dogs. I like savages. You know what I'm saying? I like guys that's some, some head hunters. You know what I'm saying? Some roughnecks. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the type of guys I like. I don't like them cottonelle, tissue soft, type guys. The guys that can go out there and get easily intimidated and get punked around. And that's what I saw out of Jimmy Graham. There's a reason why I call him Jimmy Graham Cracker. You know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, it takes a little bit more pressure to break a cracker, but nevertheless, it's still a cracker. A graham cracker. I'm here. Who that? Audit the Feds. Thank you very much, man, for checking out the live stream. Let's see. Let's go down a little further, man. I know a lot of pads. None of that. Okay. I mean, if he's running a 4.3 without any of his equipment on, with equipment, he probably running about a 4.5, 4.6 or something like that. It depends. Byron Jones is good. You know what I'm saying? Like he's a true athlete. I mean, I seen his combine, but I do feel like he gets beat a lot of times, man. Like he excels in press coverage, but he struggles. Man, he struggles when he goes up against that elite talent. He really does. And honestly, just looking at him play, man, I'm telling you, he got away with a lot the year before last, man, but they was really calling it on him this season. He was really getting things called on him. And maybe because, he put himself in the spotlight and referees started to really see, like, man, let's really check out and see what this guy does. But he was really getting them flags this year. He doubled the flags that he got, the year before last. Like he really was struggling this season in a lot of key games where the Cowboys needed him to rise to the occasion. Let's see. Sometimes I'll be asleep when TJ and Big Q go live at 8:30. I'm a truck driver. I go to bed early and get up early. Man, look, I have no problem with that. I know sometimes, man, I'm on some pop-up shop type stuff, like honestly, I wish I could have a set schedule and let y'all know, man, I'm gonna go live this day. No, I try to go live on Sundays, man, but I'm gonna be honest with you, I just wanted to spend a little time with my girl, my family, man. We went to church that morning. And my girl, she's a nurse practitioner. Y'all know that, man. She works like long hours. I'm at the radio station, I'm doing my thing. And we kind of miss each other, man. Like usually she'll come in kind of late. And, I'm getting our son, put into bed and stuff like that after I get off work. And, we both tired from the day. So we try to, spend a little time together. So I wish I could have like one of those shows where I just tell y'all, man, I'm going to be on this day, but I really can't, I really can't. But I just try to let everybody know and send notifications about me actually doing it. But even if you can't check it out live, I mean, I'm not tripping about it. I'm not worried about, that at all. You can always catch it anytime, anytime on YouTube. I'd have no problem with that at all, man. I just appreciate you, checking it out when you do. Thank you very much. A good pass rush is a corner's best friend. Can't have enough good pass rushes. Yeah, I agree with that 100%. You got to have good pass rush. You got to have quality pass rush, and that kind of helps the secondary out a lot. I think when Marcus Davenport went down, that kind of hurt the Saints because he was really starting to come on. He was really starting to make some noise, and you really got to hurt and feel bad for the young man because he was really starting to come into his own. The light was starting to come on. He was really starting to oppose his will. We were starting to see what I think Sean Payton, Jeff Ireland saw moving up and trying to get him, and all of a sudden he gets hurt again, and I feel bad for him, but I still believe in Marcus Davenport, man. But he just got to stay healthy. He just got to stay healthy. Because, like I said, the best ability is availability. I got a feeling we won't have to worry about that. I guess I missed what that was about. If the Saints lowball Marshon because he's kind of hurt prone and he is not motivated every game, do you think he would get offended and leave? Yep. Just as simple as that, Iceman. Yes, he will. Look. I know we can talk about players and critique them till we blue in the face until the cows come home. But trust and believe, if Marshon Lattimore gets on the open market, somebody's going to make him the highest paid cornerback in the NFL. And you can say he don't deserve it, and you can say he quit on plays, and you can say that he's not that good, all you want to. The guy is among the elite cornerbacks in the NFL. I mean, that's what people see him as. That's when they watch Saints all those years and watch all those cornerbacks just get smoked, roasted, and toasted every single year down the field, guys getting smoked, over the middle, guys getting smoked. And then all of a sudden you see this young number 23 from Ohio State come on the field and he going up against Julio Jones and he tackling Julio and he knocking the ball away, regardless to if we talking about it or not. That's what they see him as. They see the national media sees Marshon Lattimore. Other franchises see Marshon Lattimore as a true number one lockdown corner. And they rank him among some of the best cornerbacks in the National Football League. Like it or not, agree with it or not, if the Saints let this guy go, it will be the biggest mistake they ever made, and he will become the highest paid cornerback in the National Football League. People say I get this guy a pass. People say, I don't talk about him enough. I just know. I know for a fact that Marshon Lattimore is the best cornerback the New Orleans Saints ever had. I don't feel bad about saying that. I don't feel like I'm being on some shock jock type stuff saying that. I just watched a lot of New Orleans Saints games, and I didn't see these guys get roasted and toasted all up and down the field. And I'm telling you right now, if the New Orleans Saints don't pay this dude, that guy's phone is going to be ringing off the hook. If the Saints say, okay, we're going to let him test the free agent market, he going to be gone that day. I guarantee you. I will put that on anything. The New Orleans Saints come out with a statement and say, Marshon Lattimore, we will not pick up his fifth-year option, or we are going to allow him to test the free agent market. I guarantee that dude's phone is going to be ringing off the hook that evening, and he's going to find a new home that night. I'm that confident in that. That confident. Defensive back techniques are garbage. Speed are slow, and the defensive line isn't built for constant pressure. Blueprint for disaster. Well, Mark, that's why you have to get yourself some coaching. You know what I'm saying? You got to get yourself some good coaching. I don't know, man. Look, I thought earlier in the season the Saints pass rush was pretty doggone good. I mean, when they went up against the 49ers, I mean, I think the only difference was I think the 49ers may have had like five more total sacks than the New Orleans Saints did. The problem was when Sheldon Rankins went down and Davenport went down. That's when you seen the drop-off. That's when you seen guys not being able to get pressure. That's when you seen guys being able to have time in the pocket and be picking apart the corners. I think that hurt the Saints, and I feel like that's something that the Saints need to address. They need more depth at the end position. They have to know over the past couple of years Davenport has been hurt, so you got to get somebody that's more qualified. That if he does get hurt again, they can still get pressure on the quarterback. Okay, so I think that's something that they need to focus on. Probably in some of those late rounds, they probably gonna end up getting somebody like, you know, at the defensive end position. But I don't think it's probably going to be in the early rounds. It's probably going to be later. They probably going to get somebody in free agency. CJ going to be a monster this year. Maybe better than Lattimore. I don't think so. I don't think he's going to be better than him. I think this guy is passionate about the game. I will say that. Now, we're comparing passion, Jordan. Absolutely. Does he have more passion than Marshon Lattimore? Absolutely. I feel that. I think he has more passion than Marshon Lattimore. I will agree to that. But skills, no. He is not a better player right now at this stage in his career than Marshon Lattimore. That's just my opinion. I mean, I'm not saying that I'm right, but in my opinion, I don't feel like he's a better player than Marshon Lattimore. But passion, man, not even close. Not even close. Dallas front line was getting pressure when Jones was balling. This year, they wasn't getting to the quarterback, and it showed him up. Yep, simple. Yep, exactly. That's the thing, folks. You can really tell a player and what type of player they are when they start getting paid. See, that's the thing, man. When you had DeMarcus Lawrence and guys like that getting paid, now all of a sudden, you know, you ain't getting that type of pressure because you got guys that had empty pockets. They were playing with empty pockets. You know what I'm saying? You had some hungry guys. But now these guys eating, you know what I'm saying? They grubbing, they rubbing their stomach right now. You know what I'm saying? Because they eating. And now they ain't got to go out there and play as hard. You know what I'm saying? Because they already got the bag. They already secured the bag. That's why I say, man, people have to appreciate players like Michael Thomas. You got to appreciate players like Julio Jones. You got to appreciate players like that because when people start getting paid, that's when you start to see if those guys are really hungry. In the words of Marvin Hagler, he said it's hard to get up at 5 a.m. and run 5 miles when you're sleeping on silk sheets. It's hard to go out there, man, and be clanging and banging after you just got up. You know what I'm saying? You hopped in your Lamborghini or your Maserati and you went to the practice facility. But before that, you probably was riding around, I don't know, in a Nissan Titan or something like that. No disrespect to the Titan. I think it's a pretty quality vehicle, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's not a Maserati, though. I mean, it's not a Bentley, you know what I'm saying? It's not a Bentley truck. You get what I'm saying? But you can afford those things now, and it's kind of hard for you to go out there and just go hard. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of hard for you to go out there, you know, and play, excuse my French, balls to the wall when you know that at the end of the season you can go to Saint-Tropez, you know what I'm saying? Or you can go to Madrid or somewhere like that, you know what I'm saying? And you don't want to have to spend your offseason rehabbing, okay? You want to go out there and be on the beach somewhere, laid up with somebody that you probably found on Instagram. Sorry, but it's reality. Other people don't look at it that way. Some people don't have the Jerry Rice mentality where they say, man, as soon as the Super Bowl was over, I'm out there on the field running wind sprints. That was Jerry Rice. That was the dog. That was the savage. That was the want to be great inside of him. You know what I'm saying? That's the guy that wanted to be great. You don't have that all the time. So that's what I tell people, man. You have to appreciate guys like Michael Thomas. You got to appreciate guys like Julio Jones, man. You got to appreciate guys like Russell Wilson, guys that gonna ball out for their squad because they care about their legacy more so than just caring about going out there looking good, walking into the stadium. That's just my opinion. I'm getting a load up at the airport in the ATL right now. Big truck driver. Man, shouts out to all the truck drivers out there, man. Y'all be safe. Man, y'all the real MVPs out there, man, because y'all be riding all time of night. I couldn't do it, man. And man, but y'all be safe out there, man. And thank you for checking out the live. And I really do appreciate that, man. You know, but like I said, be safe out there, man. What would happen if Marshon decides to hold out for a big contract? They'll pay him. They're gonna pay him. There's certain players that's gonna get paid, and he's one of them. He's one of them. We need to be looking for a starting linebacker to team with Davis. Klein may not be back, and Kiko and Thor injury prone. Yeah, that's why I know he played for Notre Dame. I can't think of his name right now, but I did look at him earlier today. I can't think of his name. I'll know it by the end of the night. But I think somebody like him would be good as well. They need a young linebacker, man. You need somebody that's gonna come in and be hungry, somebody that can learn under Demario Davis. I mean, Demario Davis is a good leader. He's a guy that a young player can learn from and become better just with dealing with Demario Davis. So I would like a young linebacker to come in and play on the opposite side of Demario Davis, and I think he'll make a lot of noise. That's why I say somebody like Kenneth Murray, because he reminds me of Thomas Davis. Let me see, Damon Arnett out of Ohio State. I mean, if he can play, and he can, I think he's pretty good, but I don't know, man. You know, the Saints got enough Ohio State players, right? And speaking of Ohio State, man, while I'm thinking about it, Von Bell said that he would like to come back to the Saints. As y'all know, Von Bell is up for a contract, and to be honest with you, you know, I like Von Bell, but I have a lot of questions about Von Bell. It's kind of similar to what I was talking about with DeMarcus Lawrence. I think that he had his best year statistically this season, but it was a contract year. So I'm wondering and concerned, what type of player is the Saints going to get down the line if they pay him? I don't know. I think that's a tough decision, but I like C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I think that he'll be an upgrade from Von Bell. Shout out to your lady. My wife is a nurse practitioner, earned her master's degree from Southern University, Reverend Pink and Green, a.k.a. Yeah, Herman. Yeah, my girl, she got her undergrad at Tuskegee University, and she got her master's from Troy. Yeah, so, man, one of the smartest people I know. Man, my best friend, no doubt, and, man, always supporting me, man, and I love her to death, you know. But, man, shouts out to all the nurse practitioners out there, all the hard workers, you know what I'm saying? People, those 9-to-5ers, you know what I'm saying? In some cases, them 9-to-9ers out there, you know what I'm saying? 12, 13-hour shifters out there. Thank y'all, man, for what y'all do. And, you know, thank y'all for everything that y'all do. The truck drivers, the nurse practitioners, those doctors and stuff like that, the military personnel that check out the video, you know. I think you have some, I think, is that you, Herman, from Italy? I can't remember, but yeah, man, being overseas and being away from your family and stuff like that, man, out here working hard, you know, on the battlefield, you know, out there defending freedom, man. Y'all the real MVPs, man. So shouts out to y'all. Glenn is now developing DBs that are drafted in late rounds of the draft. It's him. He ain't a good coach to me. I don't want to say he's not a good coach. But I will say that I feel like they got everything they're going to get up out of him. People say I pick on Aaron Glenn, and I got to talk about my boy Brandon when he see this video because he tried to call me out this morning. I saw that, bro. I saw that little jab and them eye emojis. I get it. But I want people to understand this. You know, I don't go off 2 weeks. I don't go off 3 weeks. Well, sometimes, you know, when I'm talking about Alvin Kamara, you know what I'm saying? I mean, I kind of went off just one season, but it was just what I saw. Okay, it was just what I saw was very alarming. And it's just some things you just got to call out when you see them. But when it comes to schemes, when it comes to when it comes to like the way a defensive coach schemes, I give it time. And I've given him 3 years, okay? I've given him 3 years. And in those 3 years, I've seen the same old thing happening over and over and over again. Are they good? They're okay. Can they cover? Kinda. But when it matters most, when a game is on the line, when the chips are on the table, you can't count on them to make a play. And when a guy catches the ball, they so busy trying to rip the ball out the guy's hand, trying to make a play. After a play been made, just try to tackle the guy. You know, and they don't turn their heads around. I feel like that does have to be chunked up to coaching. And that's very alarming to me. So I feel like he is a good coach, but I feel like they got everything they're going to get out of him. Now, there's the one way that they can save him. They need to get him a quality assistant. They need to and Yang. That's why I feel like when Sean Payton got Greg Williams, that's why I think the Saints were so successful. Like Greg Williams, I hate Greg Williams, but he was the Yang to Sean Payton yin, okay? And they clashed. They didn't get along. They weren't friends. They probably weren't going to get no beer after hours. They weren't going by each other's house. They weren't sending each other Christmas cards. But Sean Payton understood what Greg Williams was. And Greg Williams understood what Sean Payton was. And even though they didn't get along, they let each other coach. Okay? So I feel like opposites attract. That's why I feel like Pete Carmichael is one of the main people that need to go. Because I think him, Drew Brees, Sean Payton, too much alike. And then you can throw Joe Lombardi up in there too. They're too much alike. Too many guys saying the same thing, liking the same thing, finishing each other's sentences. You need somebody that is a rogue. You need a rogue inside of the facility. You need somebody that's going to think differently, going to say, hey, man, look, we've been running the ball 15 times in this game. I think it's time for us to start, throwing the ball or vice versa. That's a good play. Good play. Like we on a Family Feud, we're going to clap it up. You know what I'm saying? Jason Garrett style. You need somebody that is different. You need somebody that's going to challenge you. Look, honestly, now I do a radio show, by myself, okay, in the afternoons. If my station manager came to me and said, TJ, we want to go in a different direction in the afternoon. We want to bring somebody in to be a part of the afternoon show with you. You know the first thing I say? Just don't get nobody like me, okay? Just don't get nobody that thinks like me. You get somebody that's different from me so we can have difference of opinions and we can bounce ideas off the wall and we can help each other think and open our minds up and see the big picture. The problem is too many guys see the same picture. Too many guys see the Mona Lisa as just a lady sitting, just sitting down, and not smiling or something like that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's seeing the true essence of it. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's seeing the true essence of the Leonardo da Vinci classic. There's nobody that's thinking outside of the box. People just looking at the picture for being a picture. And that's what the problem is with the New Orleans Saints. Too many people think the same way. So that's why I feel like you need to get rid of a guy like Pete Carmichael and bring somebody else in that's young, vibrant, energetic, new ideas. Man, forget enough of that Sean Payton clone. Get somebody with Aaron Glenn in the secondary that thinks differently from him, and they can bounce ideas off one another. They can go to the side like, hey, man, you had that interception right there. All you had to do was just turn your head around. Watch the wide receiver eyes. Look, man, I didn't play my fair share of wide receiver in my lifetime. And I'm telling y'all right now, when a quarterback throwing me the ball, my eyes about this big right here. You know what I'm saying? That's what honestly, that's what quarterbacks watch. They watch the eyes, okay? And most of the time, if you watch the eyes, to turn around because eventually your eyes getting big because the receiver is about to catch the ball or he's thinking about catching the ball. So turn your head around and you can make a play. And I feel like that's the big issue right there. So maybe if they had some lead in the league and, an interception, you turn your head around. Hey, Marshon, man, what would you doing with this right here, man? If you would have went on the inside, man, not only would you bat the ball down, but you could have caught it and batted it to yourself or something. You need somebody that thinks differently, okay? It's not just enough for just making plays and cool handshakes with all this right here. all that. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's cool and all, but where the pick at? Where the fumble recovery at? You know what I'm saying? Like, where's the play? So get somebody else in here, that may think differently. And maybe that will be something that will save the image of what we think about Aaron Glenn. I think that might help me out. I don't know about y'all, but that would help me out. Too many guys that think the same way. I think you do give him a bit of a pass, TJ. Just because he is the best we ever had doesn't mean he is absolved from criticism. Yeah, since the Saints never had a good enough corner as him, that's why we hold on. Nah, it's not even that. He's good. Like, come on, man. Like, Ice man. Let's look at it like this. I like to use examples, man. Randy Moss. Come on, man. Randy Moss. What was his motto? I play when I want to. Okay? I ball out when I want to. Now ask yourself this question. Be 100. Would you get rid of Randy Moss? Would you get rid of a player that thought like Randy Moss but played like Randy Moss? Would you do that? Absolutely not. Sometimes you got to give great players or really good players a pass, okay? Because they can be good. They can play well. So, I mean, that's just what it is. It's just a star treatment. I mean, another example, right? Let's look at Lawrence Taylor. I'm not comparing Marshon Lattimore to Lawrence Taylor, but this is a story that I feel like could, it is I feel like this story right here can be equivalent to how I'm feeling right now. Lawrence Taylor used to love the nightlife in New York. He used to go out, used to party, used to, do his thing. He always was late to meetings. Bill Belichick, who was the defensive coordinator of the New York Giants, used to start the meeting when Lawrence Taylor got there. Even though Lawrence Taylor used to sleep through the meetings, he used to wait for him there. And this is the thing. He used to sleep, through the meetings. And then Bill Belichick went and told Bill Parcells, hey man, Lawrence Taylor, he's showing up late and he not being receptive at the meetings. He sleep. And he was like, did you wake him up? He was like, no, I ain't wake him up. He said, good. It's just star treatment, man. It's just the way that it is. Like, you give your star players a pass at times when you know that they have the ability to be good, great tendencies, could be possibly all-time great, which I feel like he can be. And when he's on, like, nobody really can touch this dude. So do I give him a pass at turn? Absolutely, because I know what he can be. Do I call him out when he does wrong? Absolutely. I called him out in that Houston Texan game. I called him out in that Seattle Seahawks game when him, along with Marcus Williams, gave up that big play to DK Metcalf. Oh, trust and believe. I call him out. But I'm not going to nitpick every single time he does something or or a receiver catch the ball on him, because in reality, wide receivers get paid a lot of money to catch the ball. A lot of money. So is he going to get beat sometime? Absolutely. Is a wide receiver going to catch the ball on him? Absolutely. But I mean, I still going to call him out, but I am rather picky when it comes to like the way that I call him out, because I look at the defense. I look at the type of defense they was in. Maybe, you know what I'm saying, I've been watching football too long, and I'm not saying that I know everything, but there are certain schemes that I see, and I don't say anything because I know it don't be that player fault. Like, I mean, it's been a couple plays. Like, for example, we get upset at Marcus Williams for that George Kittle catch. We also get upset at C.J. Gardner-Johnson, but that wasn't his fault. That was not his fault. Like the issue was the linebacker was supposed to chip or push George Kittle so he can be out of play, which would put C.J. Gardner-Johnson in position to make the tackle. and the linebackers whiffed on it. Okay, so C.J. Gardner-Johnson had to be there, you know what I'm saying, much earlier than when he was supposed to be there, and that's what caused that big play. And then we talk about, Marcus Williams and them jumping on his back or whatever like that. I mean, look, just get the guy down to the ground. Yeah, he got about 15 or 20 more yards after that. Fine. But the play itself and why he caught the ball on a 4th and 2 wasn't C.J. Gardner-Johnson's fault, and it wasn't Marcus Williams' fault. I mean, so there are some plays that I actually see. I know it's just not the fault of the players, and that's what the reason why I don't come on and just be, just airing people out. But those plays with that DK Metcalf and those 2 plays when the Houston Texans came to town and it was just boom, boom, touchdown. No, sir. Nah, he don't get no pass for that. You got to appreciate these rookies then that come in balling like Kamara and Lattimore was doing, and the Saints missed out. Yeah, they did. They had a great opportunity because you had all this talent on rookie deals, but now you got to start paying these guys. And now you got to count on Jeff Ireland to do what he did in 2017. You got to hope that he can duplicate that draft. Good luck with that. Glenn needs to be replaced. I'm kind of up in the air with that. I did say I think they need to. I feel like if they bring somebody else in, maybe to help them out a little bit, I think he should be okay. Jacob Eason and Jordan Love, good picks for the Saints because I don't think Jake Fromm or Jalen Hurts fits the Saints. Jacob Eason, not really, not to me. I'm not feeling Jacob Eason. Jordan Love, I feel like would be a good fit for the New Orleans Saints. I think that he has a lot of good qualities. I just think that he never played in a system where guys were like really, really good. I think he played on a team where the talent around him, caused him to struggle. That's just my honest opinion on that. But I think Jordan Love would be a really good quarterback for the New Orleans Saints. It's too late. Find something else to do on Sundays. The train was going in 2011. I assume that's somebody that's not a Saints fan. What are you talking about? Find something to do. Hey, come on, man. Like this, what better thing to do than to talk about football? This is the best thing to do in the world, my friend. John, that's the best thing to do, man. I love talking about football, man. I know you do too, because if you didn't, you wouldn't be here. Let's see. Herman, thank you very much for the $1.99 and the 99¢, man. I appreciate that. I'd rather keep Lattimore over Kamara. Me too. I mean, you can find a good running back anywhere. I hate to say it, you know what I'm saying? But I understand Kamara is special, but you can find a running back that can do some of the things that Kamara does. Now, I'm not saying that they're not going to do it as well as he does, but if it came down to having a cornerback and a running back, I'm choosing the cornerback. Oh my God, how many years have we all said turn your head around? Well, Sean Payton, I can't even comment on that, though, man. I think I just said that enough. Sean Payton needs to look in the mirror. His play calling is terrible. Play calling is terrible, dog, because he don't have nobody to, nobody to question him, nobody to challenge him. Too cocky. I mean, what Pete Carmichael gonna say? You know what I'm saying? Like, man, Sean, I think we need to run the ball a little bit more. Man, shut up and go get my juicy fruit, man. Shut up and go make sure that the Gatorade cold. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. Nobody even, like, honestly, just tell you everything you need to know about Pete Carmichael. Pete Carmichael has been with the New Orleans Saints just as long as Drew Brees and Sean Payton. What, about 14, 15 years, right? How many head coaching interviews has Pete Carmichael had? I'll wait. None. That tells you everything you need to know. People don't respect him as an offensive coordinator. People don't respect him as a play caller. So what could he possibly say to Sean Payton? I mean, come on, we need to run the ball. Man, please, stop it. That's why I say you need somebody else in here that's going to challenge him. Okay, be like, man, look, you done threw the ball 15 straight times, man. Can we run the football? I mean, these guys, we got some dogs. We got some savages out here, man. We got some rough riders that won't run the football. You know? He too cocky, man, too arrogant, too full of himself. And, his play calling has cost the Saints, in some crucial situations and some crucial games when it mattered most. I mean, he can keep on doing it if he want to, but eventually people gonna start getting tired of that, and that whole title of offensive genius is gonna slowly start to dwindle. Last ball hawking secondary we had was the Darren Sharper. Darren Sharper was here. Yep, that's true. I mean, you can say what you want to. Darren Sharper off the field, I'm not a fan of, but when he was on that field, he had 9 interceptions that Super Bowl year, and he was a key acquisition for the Saints, a very key acquisition for the Saints. Great pickup. TJ, I agree. Pete Carmichael needs to go. He just a do boy flunky for Sean Payton. Yep. That's all he is. It's like they building up Breeze stats before he go. Man, if you want to go that route, man, they've been building up Breeze stats long before that. You know, if we want to go that route. I'm not saying that's the case, but I'm over these stats, man. Look, I like Drew Brees, and look, he deserves everything that comes to him, but I mean, it's about the time, man. It's about the time to get some Super Bowls up in this thing. We ain't talking about Super Bowl. We ain't talking about nothing, okay? Look, it's good to have them primetime games because Drew Brees going to break yet another record, but I could care less about a record. The only record that I care about is another Super Bowl. That's the record that I want. I want the Saints to have 2 Super Bowls. You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, I want them to win a Super Bowl so they can have 2 championships, and that's all I care about. All that record-breaking stuff, I mean, that's just individual awards and stuff. That's not – I mean, what they gonna do? But you know, look how the last 3 years of the playoffs ended. TJ, if you could change one thing right now about the Saints out of all the things we need done, what would it be? Chosen, that's a good question. If I can change one thing out of the New Orleans Saints, out of every single thing, I would actually change the wide receiver position. You know, I think the Saints, honestly, as much as we talk about the secondary, as much as we bash the secondary, I feel like the Saints down the stretch and their lack of playmakers at the wide receiver position hurt them. You know, I think that if the Saints actually had another wide receiver and teams didn't look at them as being a predictable offense, I think they would have made the Saints season and made us a lot more happier. You know, I think they would have possibly ended up, you know, possibly in a Super Bowl hunt. But I think if I can change anything, it would be the wide receiver position. I feel like that hurt the Saints down the stretch. I agree. Peyton must have 50 pass plays going in a game and 5 run plays. Yep. Don't care about the running game. Don't care about the running game. Don't commit to it. Impatient. And it hurt the Saints every single year. Like, I don't know. You would think like you would go back to 2009 and see that you were 5th in the league in rushing. No, excuse me, 3rd in the league in rushing. You would think that you would try to follow that blueprint. You would think that you would watch teams like the Tennessee Titans with Derrick Henry and the San Francisco 49ers run their way into the Super Bowl. You would think they would actually learn from that. But unfortunately, Sean Payton not going to learn from it. He's going to go out there. He's going to throw the ball 40 and 50 more times. And yeah, it's going to have people all excited because the Saints going to win games, and it's going to be exotic plays, and it's, you know, a defensive stop to bail us out. It's still going to count on some missed field goal by the other team to bail us out. We still going to be going through the same thing because, once again, the time of possession hurts us every single time because the Saints want to throw the ball all over the place, stopping the clock, keeping these teams in a game that shouldn't even be in a game. We're going to have these same problems. It's going to be the same old song and dance, and eventually we're going to get tired of it as Saints fans. And eventually we're going to say, man, enough is enough. We love Sean Payton, but maybe he lost his magic. Hopefully we won't have to say that, but if he keep messing around, we're going to eventually be uttering those words. Let's see. Yeah, but it set a bad example in the locker room for younger guys. Rookies will look at Marshon as a defensive leader. You can't be doing that. Your work ethic matters, fam. Nobody, if you lock up bum wide receivers. Well, I mean, he's not locking up bum wide receivers. I mean, before he got hurt and he pulled his hamstring, man, he was doing Julio Jones pretty dirty out there, man. He was locking him down. And it wasn't a coincidence that as soon as he went out, he was on that bike. And then Julio went for like 78 yards, right? So, and then not to mention when he went up against Mike Evans, he shut him down. You know what I'm saying? He have a catch of the game. So, I mean, I understand about the whole locker room setting an example for them, but I don't think people see him as the way that we see him. I don't. I don't think people see him that way. I think they see him as a leader. I think they see him as one of the best players on the team on defense. And those young players, they look up to him, man. They look up to him a lot. I mean, I've seen interviews. His name come up quite often. The Truth Hurt says, Mr. TJ Jones, the host of the State of the Saints podcast. I've been hearing Saints might get rid of Taysom Hill. I'm telling right now, that's dumb. The Truth Hurts, thank you very much for the $5 donation. I didn't hear that, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. I didn't hear those whispers going on. But if they do get rid of him, hopefully they get something that's worth it and not just getting rid of him, you know. But I do know they put a first round tender on him, so somebody about to give up a first round pick if they're getting rid of him. Let's see. Even I watch State of the Saints religiously. God himself. Thank you very much, Lord. Thank you for your blessings that you restored upon me and my family. You know, I know that's, of course, that's not God himself, but man, I give all glory and honor to God, man, like for everything that he does in my life. And I don't know how religious any of you are, but I mean, I'm a man of great faith, and I know it's nothing but God, man, that put me in this position. Blessings have, you know, been coming in my life, and things that I've been working for almost a decade. You know, my work is, you know, starting to pay off. It was some rough times. I'm gonna be honest with you. I know a lot of people may not want to hear that, but with some rough times, me getting to this point, you know, I had to make a lot of sacrifices to focus on my dream and my passion. And it had a lot to do with my son. You know, it had a lot to do with my son because I know my son one day gonna look at me and he gonna have dreams of doing something. And I want to be able to look him in the eyes and tell him truthfully, you know, to believe in himself and your dreams are going to come true. I don't want to tell him, oh man, you know, go follow your dreams. And I didn't do it, you know. So he plays a huge role in that for, you know, the type of role model and a man I want to be for him. And I want to look him in the eyes one day and with confidence and tell him to follow his dreams and work hard, and his dreams will become a reality. Let's see. Anthony Gordon from Washington State, new quarterback, man. He's going to be a sneak pick in the draft. You can get him late, but I'm talking about like the 5th round. Footwork is bad and needs a little work. James, thank you very much, man, for the scouting report on that. Honestly, I never heard of Anthony Gordon. I'm had you know, Coach Leach out there. You know, Jeff Leach is a really good coach. You know, they call him the mad scientist. And that's where Gardner Minshew come from. Y'all see what he was doing out there in Jacksonville, even though he didn't play really well against the Saints. I mean, he has a lot of promise, and well, he did come from Washington State, so they got some good players out there. I'm gonna check them out, man. Anthony Gordon. I'll check him out after we're wrapping this up. Last time somebody challenged him was Adrian Peterson, and we saw what happened with him. Yep. Anybody that challenged him get tossed up out of town. Anybody that go against him leave town. I mean, that's the same thing happened to what unhappy with his performance in 2019, but we're going to need him to help get us over the hump. The True Hurt, like, nah, I'm not saying get rid of him. Somebody, you know, gave me that scenario. Like, which one would I want to keep? If I just feel like the cornerback position is a little bit more important than the running back position. I mean, I just think that you can find somebody that can run between the tackles, that can catch out of the backfield and get you a few more yards. Those guys, you know, those guys come around every single year. You know, every single year there's somebody that you didn't think was going to be that good end up being good. So, I mean, we didn't know that much about Kamara. I mean, y'all know that first game that he played. You know, people were like, man, what in the world is this, man? Like, I thought this dude would be the next Marshall Faulk. And then week after week, he started getting better and better and better. So, That's the way it goes every single year. You crazy. Kamara over Lattimore. Marshon is living off his rookie season. We're going to overpay him, and I will let him go if he wants money. Number one money. Man, please. I'm sorry, Jay Sean, but you tripping on that. You rather keep a running back than actual cornerback. Like, nah, bro. It's hard to find it's hard to find a good cornerback, man. It's hard. Like, I cannot feel only for the cornerbacks to go out there and get roasted and toasted all over the field. Like, man, I'll take a cornerback over a running back any day if I had to choose. If I had to choose, I'm taking a cornerback. Marshon Lattimore is much more, I feel like much more important than Alvin Kamara is at the running back position. I feel like you can get yourself a running back. It's hard to find a guy that has elite type cover skills. And I will pay him number one money. And I cannot believe that Saints fans talking like this. Like the trash that we done had in this organization, the garbage that has took the field in New Orleans. And we sitting up here talking about a guy. That was defensive rookie of the year, made the Pro Bowl this year. You know what I'm saying? Made the Pro Bowl, 2 out of the last 3 years, you know what I'm saying, that he played. Like, come on, man. What are we doing here? Like, what are we doing? Like, honestly, what are we doing? That's all I'm saying. Like, what are we doing? I've seen this so many times, man. The Brandon Browners. I mean, come on, bro. The Jason Smoke Turkey Davis, the Fred Thomas, all these other guys. And people will say, well, that's what we do. We dig in a crate and we compare him. Of course we compare him. I mean, you got to. You got to compare him in comparison to all the other cornerbacks. Are you telling me that Marshon Lattimore is not a top 5 or a top 10 cornerback? Please, somebody tell me this right now. Please tell me this guy ain't a top 5 or a top 10 cornerback right now. That man deserves number one money, rather anybody want to admit it or not. He deserves his money. You can call him lazy. You can say that he take plays off, whatever. The dude has elite cover skills. Rather he shows it every Sunday or not, the Saints know that a cornerback and a player of his caliber is hard to find. So, y'all, I mean, honestly, like I said to all those people this morning that was talking about Joe Burrow, don't psych yourself up to believe that Marshon Lattimore is going to lead the New Orleans Saints. He is going to be with the New Orleans Saints, and they're going to sign him to a long-term deal. He is going to get a long-term deal. If it comes, I promise you, if it comes down to Kamara and Lattimore and who gets a long-term deal, watch you get the long-term deal. That's all I'm saying. Like the cornerback position is way more important, man. Honestly, the running back position just got back to people giving it respect. Just got back. And it's because of what Derrick Henry did, and it's because of the 49ers. Now people are talking about the running game. Now people are talking about running in between the tackles. Before then, it's a pass. It is a pass-happy league. The rules are set up for quarterbacks to do 5 and 7 step drops. Nobody checking for no running play no more. The 3 yards in the cloud of dust days are over. They're over. Teams want to throw the ball down the field. Look who is the most polarizing quarterback right now. Patrick Mahomes. What does he do well? Throw the ball down the field. Next, Aaron Rodgers. They call him the greatest thrower of football. What does he do well? Throw the ball down the field. And yet, we're sitting up here thinking and believing that a team is going to pick a running back that has the possibility of being elite over a cornerback who has shown that he can lock down some of the best receivers in the NFL. If you think that a running back with elite skills versus a cornerback with elite skills and a contract is up, and you don't think that the team is going to select that corner, I don't know what to tell you. I'll electrifying the crowd, putting behinds in seats. It's a business first, folks. It's a business first. You trust and believe it's a business first. It ain't nobody checking for no guy to hand the ball off 25, 35 times like we playing with Johnny Unitas and Bart Starr and them. People want to see the ball getting thrown down the field, and teams know that. And teams play that way. And if teams are throwing the ball all over the place, you better have a good secondary. And how do you have a good secondary? You have to have good corners. So guess who's getting paid? The cornerback. Dude Julio playing with Matt Ryan and our front seven was making it hard. Trayshawn, that might have answered your own question about the secondary, man. So if the front seven, if the front seven was making it hard, if they was making it hard, like as far as like, are you talking about getting pressure? Because I want to know what direction. I want to know this because I want to make sure that I'm answering this right. Are you saying the front seven wasn't getting home, or they were getting home? Because if they was getting home, then you know what I'm saying. If they was getting home, then the corner's not gonna suffer. But if they ain't getting pressure on a quarterback, of course, I don't care how good your corners are. I don't care how good your secondary is. If your front four or your front seven is not getting pressure on a quarterback or whatever it is, your cornerbacks are going to suffer. I don't care who it is. I don't care who you are. You're going to suffer. What do you think about Jacob Eason coming into the draft or to move from the XFL Battlehawks? I watched Tamu. I don't know how to pronounce his name, but I knew he went to Ole Miss. I watched him when he was at Ole Miss. He reminds me of a poor man's Colin Kaepernick. You know what I'm saying? Like when Kaepernick was like at his high. He reminds me of him. He's not accurate. He has bad feet. I think that him playing for the St. Louis Battlehawks might help him. They have some good coaching on that staff, some seasoned veterans when it comes to the coaching. So maybe they can kind of help him and he can transition back to the NFL. I mean, he's still young enough, so he still got a chance. Trayshawn, you're just a hater. Julio and Matt Ryan literally went to the Super Bowl 3 years ago. That duo is deadly, and Marshon, after week 3, was locking down everybody. He has a strong opinion. I mean, that's what makes us all different, that we have a difference of opinion. And but I don't know. I'm paying a cornerback before I pay a running back. That's just me. I love my Saints. I'm just disappointed because we just can't seem to get over the hump. Yeah, me too. And I'm starting to get scared too. I'm starting to think that this is going to be like some old Marty Schottenheimer, Cleveland Browns type stuff, you know, back in the 80s. That's what I'm feeling like, you know, like they always had like the best team, but they just couldn't get over the hump. Kamara does more than run. He catches the ball out of the backfield like a receiver like Marshall Faulk. Yeah, but so did Pierre Thomas. So did Tavares Cadet. So did Darren Sproles. And later on in his career, so did Mark Ingram. And that was before Kamara even got there. So you can find a running back that can run between the tackles and can catch out of the backfield. You know, like, so, I mean, offense win games, defense win championships. And I'm telling you right now, you can find a running back that can do some of the things that Alvin Kamara can do. Now, I'm not saying they'll be on that type of level, but they can move the football and they can make plays. When it comes to the cornerback position, they're hard to find. They're hard to find, man. I'm sorry. It is hard to find a quality a quality cornerback. It is a guy that can actually do something. Cooper Kupp smoked him. Cooper Kupp smoked a lot of folk. Cooper Kupp led his team in receptions. That's not a good example. Cooper Kupp is an incredible slot receiver, probably one of the best. Probably him and Julian Edelman, two of the best slot corners in all of football. So, I mean, slot receivers in all of football. It's not saying a lot, you know. Like he smokes a lot of people, just like Adam Thielen smokes a lot of people. Stephon Diggs smokes a lot of people. You know, like you're going to get beat. Like I mean, that's just what it is. You're going to get beat. I mean, it's going to be times where the receiver is going to get the best of you. If that's the case, maybe Sean Payton is right not running the ball. Nah, you're not right. You're not right. You gotta run the football. I don't care what it is. I still don't know how to feel about. I think it had a lot to do with the injury. But I do think he was kind of saving himself a couple plays. That's just me. But I do think he would hurt, and maybe he didn't want to hurt himself even worse. But Lattimore is a really good player. He just needs to step up on a more consistent basis. Hopefully he keeps getting better and not take a step back. I mean, like I said, he made the Pro Bowl this year. So, I mean, that was a step in the right direction. They were getting pressure. Not much. You know, like they weren't getting that much pressure. But, I mean, I guess you're talking about the Falcon game. Yeah, they were getting some pressure, man. But, man, I don't know. I'm not going to sit up here and just I'm sorry. This is something we're gonna have to agree or disagree on. I'm not going to look at Marshon Lattimore the way that people see him. I don't feel like the Saints need to cut him. I don't feel like he needs to go anywhere. I feel like the Saints need to sign him to a long-term deal because I think he's that good. I'll keep Kamara because Sean Payton said this offseason he's working on the run game and make it better. I hope. Should we get Jordan Love first round in the draft? I would. Laviska Shenault, I watched his highlights. Looks like he for real. Yeah, I like him, man. I like Laviska Shenault. Big physical guy. But he has speed. You know, he's not like a Michael Thomas where he's big and physical and can't run. This guy can run and he can get that yak. He can get them yards after the catch. And I like him because he reminds me of a young Brandon Marshall. Brandon Marshall turns into a running back after he catches the ball. And that's something that I see out of Shenault. And I think he'll fit well with the Saints. Let's see. Dude, Shannon Sharp came on live TV and said he just as worse as the other guy. And don't say you don't listen to Shannon Sharp because you post a video of him talking about the QB position. Like I said, Trayshawn, we just gonna have to agree to disagree. Like I don't see Marshon Lattimore the way that you see him, you know. And honestly, you know, I see a couple times where I feel like you base your opinions, you know, on things that you see in the now. I've been watching this guy play since he was at Ohio State. I seen this guy play his rookie season, and I seen it like his second season wasn't so good, but this season, good solid season out of Marshon Lattimore, and I would sign him to a long-term deal. And I mean, honestly, I would sign him to a long-term deal. And just like you said, okay, and just like you was talking about Shannon Sharp, we were talking about Marshon Lattimore. Skip Bayless, on the other hand, said, I think he's the best corner in all of football. So you can pick the side to say that Shannon Sharp said that, but you also have to say that Skip Bayless said that he was the best corner, but then not talk about the other guy that argued the fact that he feels like he is one of the best corners, if not the best corner in football. We can't forget that now, Trayshawn. We can't tell half the story. We gotta tell it all now. You know what I'm saying? Like we can't just use one person for an example just to fit our narrative or whatever. But they were arguing about that. But I disagree. I'm sorry. I can't see it. I can't see it the way you do, my friend. Trayshawn, how many times do we have to tell you? He changed his mentality and had a great season after week 3. Yep, the Texans, Rams, Seahawks games is irrelevant. Yep. He led the league for most yards given up because at the beginning of the season, giving up, you was just up here crying about how he performed in the playoffs and then wanted to fight Aaron Glenn. I didn't criticize him. He got hurt. The man got hurt in the game. The man hurt his ankle and left the game. That's the reason why Patrick Robinson was in the game. Come on now, man. Now it seems like you come on, man. Stop it, man. Stop it. The thing, like, I want to know who you honestly, who do you feel like is better than Marshon Lattimore? Or on the Saints team, who can step in right now? Let's go ahead and kill his noise right now. Who right now for the New Orleans Saints is a better cornerback besides Janoris Jenkins you can make an argument for that is better than him? Who can step in if the Saints say, nah, let's go ahead and get rid of him? Who are you going to get? Who are you going to get? Who are you going to get that is going to be better than this guy? That's all I'm saying. Who are you going to pick up? Because I feel like this is one of them situations where you're saying he had the most yards given up, but what you're not saying is the majority of the yards that he gave up was at the beginning of the season. Talk about towards the tail end of the season. Talk about that. Talk about toward the tail end of the season when he was locking down dudes and putting these boys in straight up jail. Talk about that, man. He gave up a lot of yards at the beginning of the season, but towards the end of the season, nobody was getting yards on this dude like that at all. And we can make an argument about the Minnesota Vikings all you want to, bro. But Adam Thielen and Stephon Diggs are the bona fide certified truth, man. Them dudes be catching some out of this world type passes. I seen this dude, Adam Thielen, catch a ball behind it, behind the neck of the guy. You know what I'm saying? No way in the world he should have caught that pass. They're just talented. You're going to get beat. You are going to get beat. Okay? You are going to get beat. It is a part of life. It is a part of the game. Darrelle Revis got beat. Patrick Peterson got beat. Richard Sherman got beat. People get beat. Elite cornerbacks get beat. It's just what it is. These guys get paid hundreds of millions of dollars at the wide receiver positions to catch footballs. Okay? You are not going to completely shut down guys every single week for 0 yards. Not happening. It is not happening. Okay? And I'm not going to criticize a guy who played really good first, second, third quarter, and then the guys, they start nickel and diming and playing prevent, and all of a sudden they catching passes in the middle of the field, and now I'm saying he sucked. No, I'm not doing that. If the Saints get rid of Marshon Lattimore, it would be a big mistake. Huge mistake. Huge mistake. And I can't believe we having this conversation, man. This is crazy. Like, out of all the trash that we seen, out of all the garbage that has taken the field for the Saints at the cornerback position, and we sitting up here talking about a guy like this guy, like, man, stop it, man. Why Saints haven't hired linebackers coach yet? I'm not sure about that. I think they just want to make sure they get the right fit. I would sign Breeze. Breeze will return. I think Breeze gonna return, man. You don't take this long if you're not coming back. Come on, man. We can't let Lattimore go. That would be crazy. Yeah, that'd be insane. Dude, everybody was saying that he looks horrible. The beat writer for the Saints said he needs to return to shut down corner because right now he is terrible. Please show me that article where he said that. Please, I got to see that article. And you are on, you are my friend on. So please send me that article where Mike Triplett, one of those guys, and I ain't talking about no dude. I ain't talking about no dude that no disrespect to anybody because I respect everybody, but a person that has questionable, journalistic integrity. You know what I'm saying? Somebody that's just trying to be a shock jock or a shock journalist. They're just trying to grab you and gravitate to you. Show me a Mike Triplett. Show me a who else we got up there? Just show me a John DeShazer. Show me somebody like that, somebody that follow around the team that's saying some stuff like this. Please. I'm talking about some quality guys that spend endless hours at the facility covering this team. And I also want to see the date. I want to see the date as well. Trayshawn, nobody agrees with you. Man, no, please. Let's not do that, y'all. Okay, we can have this healthy argument. We don't need to call each other trolls and all that kind of stuff. Bless you and your family. Keep speaking the truth. I've been listening to you since middle last year. Man, look, like I said, we don't have to agree. Like that, I mean, we don't have to agree with everything each other say. That's what makes it great. That's why I love doing this, man, because we're not always gonna see things the same way. But man, that's not like, you know what I'm saying, talk about each other, man, and go at each other like that, man. Let's stop that, man. It's all love here. It's all love. Let's see. He played some bum QBs. Winston, Minshew, Trubisky, Prescott. Stop making excuses. Okay, he did play Russell Wilson, right? He did play Deshaun Watson, right? I mean, he did play Jimmy Garoppolo, who a lot of people say not that good, but Jimmy Garoppolo is clutch. Whether people want to say this or not, I get the narrative. When I see this dude convert 2 3rd and 16s, bro, you can't tell me nothing. 4th and 2, come on, man. Stop it. Knock it off. I got to put him in there. You know, like, man, he played some really good. I mean, he played some good quality quarterbacks. You can throw a Trubisky up in there. You can throw a Minshew. You can throw a Winston up in there. But they still play some really decent, you know what I'm saying? They really played some really decent quarterbacks. So, I mean, he played Minshew and Trubisky and them, but at the same time, man, they still did their thing. You know what I'm saying? They still did their thing for the most part. Prescott didn't do nothing. Prescott didn't do nothing against them. He shut them down. And it's not like Jameis Winston threw a lot of picks, but he threw a lot of yards too. He throws his team out of the game, but he still keeps them in the game. So, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for every Trubisky, they had a Russell Wilson. I'm trying to see who else did they play. They played the NFC West. They played the NFC South, which, you know, Matt Ryan, he a decent quarterback too. And who else did they play? Who else did the Saints play? I cannot remember. Yeah, Jeff Duncan too. I got to mention Jeff Duncan, a columnist as well. But who else did the Saints play? Oh yeah, they played the AFC South. So AFC South. I mean, Ryan Tannehill played pretty good, comeback player of the year. Deshaun Watson, Russell Wilson. I mean, these some guys that made the Pro Bowl. These some guys that led their team to the playoff. So it wasn't like they were just playing against some hot garbage out there every single week or something like that, man. You know, they played some guys that had some questionable quarterback play, but I don't know. Let's see. TJ, people want our quarterbacks to have a shutout game. Yeah, man, but that's so hard to do, man. Everybody's not Patrick Peterson. Everybody not Richard Sherman in his prime. Everybody not Darrell Reeves in his prime. Everybody can't be like a key to leap. You know, I'm like, guys not like that. That's the reason why they put these guys on pedestal. Why people don't get notification. I don't know why. Because let me see. Because I don't even get notifications. Yep, I don't get notifications too. I got to check that out. I got to see why. That's life, TJ. We'll have agreements and disagreements. That's what makes the Saints better. Yeah. I mean, like I said, that's just what it is, man. You know, that's what makes us better. And Watson and Wilson killed. I remember dude dogging him, and that rookie receiver for the Seahawks toasted talk about Russell Wilson running over D-Hop killed him. D-Hop killed a lot of come on, man. D-Hop one of the top 3 wide receivers in the league. Russell Wilson did not kill him. That was just one play down the field before halftime. After that, I didn't see him putting up big plays after that. As a matter of fact, somebody please that was about anything. Let me see. Saints versus Seahawks. Let's see what the stats was looking like in that game. I got it right here. Give me a second. Okay, for the Seahawks, DK Metcalf had 2 catches for 67 yards. And one of them catches that he had, you know what I'm saying, was that pass deep down the field. So I'll take that. And Tyler Lockett had 11 catches for 154 yards, but guess who was guarding him? Eli Apple. So, yeah, I'll take that. 2 catches for 67 yards, 1 pass down the field. But what you are not saying is that a lot of the passes that DeAndre Hopkins had came in the second half. In the first half, he didn't do anything at all. They only had like 1 deep play, and that was to Will Fuller. And of course, who got posterized? Mr. Eli Apple. So, I mean, catches. Yep. Let's see. I know this name doesn't turn next, but how do you feel about Zach Lyons' career and retirement? Chosen Kingston. Look, man, any Saints player that you know has been with the organization is up for discussion. Zach Lyons, I liked him a lot, man. Good fullback. Teammates liked him a lot. Was a really good blocker. I think that the Saints were missing him this past season. I think he was like a key to, you know, a lot of those runs in between the tackles last season with Mark Ingram and Alvin Kamara. Also catching the ball out of the backfield and goal line situations. I think the Saints missed him, you know, and they end up like having to get different fullbacks to replace him, and I don't think they found one. Look, but he has to do what's best for him. He has to do what's best for his health, man. You know, you're going to live a lot longer than you play the game of football, and I think he made the right decision for him and his family, and I wish him the best. You know, I think that for the time that he was with the Saints, he did a really good job, and his teammates respect him, and I got a lot of respect for him as well. I have interesting suggestion for offensive line. Let Pete go. I like that already. Move Armstead to left guard, move Ramczyk to left tackle, and sign right tackle Jake Conklin, or draft a young starting right tackle. Armstead has been hurt over the years. This would help. DLP 2600 makes sense, but I don't agree with that. I'm not moving Ramczyk from right tackle to left tackle. The guy is one of the best right tackles, if not the best right tackle in the NFL. I got a lot of respect for him. Teron Armstead, when he's healthy, he's one of the best left tackles in football. Yeah, we can't make an argument that he stays hurt all the time, but I don't think it's worth him moving. But the Andrews Pete, letting him go, I'm down for that all day, all night. Zach Lyons was a good fullback. He was athletic and a good team player. Yeah, he was. We that Who That Nation. What up, folks? Man, what's going on? Thank you for checking out the live. So you're going to pay him number 1 corner money, then sit here and say he not Darrell Reeves and Patrick Peterson and Stephon Gilmore, but you're still going to pay him number 1 money? Yep. Yep. Because even though he's not those guys, yet, I'm gonna say yet because I think he can be an elite corner. I think you pay him number 1 money. You know, there's a lot of players that's not Darrell Reeves or Patrick Peterson or Stephon Gilmore. There's a lot of players like that. You think Chris Harris is like on that level, Chris Harris Jr.? Absolutely not. Do you think Darius, all world? It's not about that at all. It's about being able to play the position at a high level, and he's proven that he can. I'm so glad Andrews Pete going. Yeah, Andrews Pete about to get paid though. Speaking of Skrilla, he gonna end up getting paid because he gonna play somebody left tackle. And and the crazy thing about it is he gonna do a good job too. He gonna do a good job for a team, and we gonna be mad, and we gonna be seeing Andrews Pete multiple Pro Bowls, and later on in this year, his career, they might be like, man, he one of the best. Like, he's gonna be crazy. Watch, I'm telling you, that's how it goes. That's just how it goes. NFL Network got us signed Jameis Winston and re-signing Breeze. Thoughts, man? Please, man. Jameis Winston. Last thing I heard, they say he was getting LASIK surgery or whatever. to fix his eyes, which is so funny, and I know why CBS Sports put out that, because they thought it was funny too. Him throwing all them interceptions, and now you got to get LASIK eye surgery. Look, so many jokes, so many comments, so many angles you can go with that column. But him being a part of the New Orleans Saints, no, sir. What's with this foolish with Bridgewater get signed back with the New Orleans Saints because he won those 5 games and team look at him as a starting quarterback. TJ, have you seen the film on Nebraska cornerback Lamar Jackson? I haven't seen any film on him, but I know he's really good. I watched him play a couple times. I like him a lot. I think that he can be really good for the New Orleans Saints. I like how he's good at press coverage, man. I like how physical he is. Dude, didn't T.Y. Hilton just come back off a serious injury trying to help his team make the playoffs, and then he was playing with a backup quarterback? And Jacoby Brissett was the starting quarterback all season. So, and you are telling the truth about T.Y. Hilton being hurt. But it can't be either or, man. Like, we can't say the dude locked down this guy and then be like, well, he locked down this guy because this guy was hurt, or he locked down this guy because they was focused on this guy. Like, it's rather he not that good or he that good. We can't have it both ways. It's funny how there's a number of reasons coming up for Lattimore not getting paid number 1 money, but we're gonna ignore all the reason why Kamara should get double what, buddy. Yeah. Man, y'all boy killing me tonight, boy. Ooh, tough crowd tonight. Invictus TJ, you should do a collab with Engraven Vids. He is a great dad, owns a Ravens channel, and also loves the Saints. Most chill guy. It would be the perfect collab. Yeah, man. I'm open to doing shows. The way my schedule set up now is crazy. Like, I just want to help people, man. Like, nothing special about me at all. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't, because, man, that's just the way I am. I feel like I can go that route, but I don't feel like that's me. Like, me is just what y'all see right here, what's behind me, or when I'm at the station or whatever, because comes with this, you know what I'm saying? It's cool, but I just love talking about the Saints. I love talking about sports. And that stuff really don't matter to me, and I want to help people. Like, I talk to people all the time, wanting to start podcasts, wanting to start sports channels. Man, I just tell people to do it and love it and do it to the best of your ability and throw that passion behind there. And, man, just watch how things just start to open up for you. Like, just watch how much love, you'll have for what you're doing when you're not worrying about analytics, or you're not worrying about how much revenue you got, or how many people viewed your channel, or anything like that, But I know that's a long story, but I mean, I'm open to collabing with people and stuff like that, doing shows and talking about different topics. I'm open for that. I just like sports and all avenues of broadcasting, Not only am I a DJ, for 90.9 in South Carolina, I'm also a producer as well. I like producing things, I like creating content, I like building things. And anybody that's listening right now, man, that want to start a sports podcast and think that they can do it, you can. Look, ain't no hating over here. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want people to do what they love to do. And if you have a passion for sports, rather it be the Saints, or you probably looking at this might like another team, go for it. Go for it and just like it and put your head down and just focus on the love of what you're doing, and everything else will fall into place. But yeah, I like to do collabs with other people, and anybody that needs help or anything like that might want to start a channel or interested in starting something, like, it just let me know. Now, I'm not saying that I'll be able to do all of them, because I have a lot of things to do. I got a new job. More don't deserve number 1, then Alvin Kamara don't deserve top running back. But I already said I don't feel like Alvin Kamara deserves top running back money, because he's not an every down back. I mean, you sharing the backfield with Latavius Murray. So I feel like that top money is for people that is going to be the number one, every down back. So if the Saints say, man, we're going to get rid of Latavius Murray, he's only going to run the ball about, 1 or 2 times, then maybe. But the way that they share the rock and the inability to run the football and not running the football when it comes to Sean Payton's play calling, I think it's a waste of money. You might as well just take $20 million and throw it into the river. I seen a rumor on the NFL app that we could sign Jameis Winston if we don't sign Drew or Taysom. Might be a good pick, and it might save this dude's career. To be honest with you, might save his career. But who knows, man? I don't know. I mean, this guy's been struggling turning the ball over since at Florida State, so I don't think a Tiger changed his stripes. What did I miss? Give me an update. Heavy C. Henderson. Let's see. Man, you missed quite a bit. We 2 hours into this thing. You missed the talk about Taysom Hill in the quarterback position. We talked about Von Bell. And for some apparent reason, man, for the last almost hour, we've been talking about is Marshon Lattimore a number one cornerback, and does he deserve to be paid like a number one cornerback? So, I mean, that's basically what you missed, man. So chime in and get in where you fit in. He could also give you a bunch of followers if you look at it that way. The Invictus Samaritan, I'm not really concerned about followers, man. Like, I promote and say subscribe to the channel. I encourage people to do that, of course, because, I want people, that's interested in Saints content to, join the channel. But that's not my main focus, man. I just do it because I love it. I'm going to be honest with you. Like, before I starting out, and I feel like I went in the wrong direction. And I was focusing on analytics and numbers and all that kind of stuff there. I was at one time. And but stop caring, about that kind of stuff. That's when I feel like I started to have more fun. So it's not about followers to me. I just love what I'm doing, man. I love what I'm doing. And I'm not saying I won't collab, with a person, but that's not my primary focus to get a whole bunch of viewers or anything like that. I'd rather have people that watch this that love the Saints just as much as me and love sports just as much as me, versus just having a whole bunch of people just so I can walk around and feel important. I'm not saying that's what people do, but that's not my style. You know what I'm saying? Like, if it happens that way, it happened because that's the way God wanted it to happen. But that's not my primary focus, not anymore, because you'll mess around and you'll become, so fully embedded into that, and you'll become angry and bitter and depressed and stuff like that, because you'll start counting on people to decide your worth. And I can't do that, man. I can't do it. Not these days, at least. Back in the day, maybe, but not today. If Lattimore don't deserve, oh yeah, I already read that one. Let's see. Okay, this Jameis Winston thing is starting to pop up too much. I'm not liking this. Please, Sean, don't do this. We didn't do anything wrong. I don't believe that, man. I ain't buying it. I will look at it once I get off here. I'll check it out, but suppose Drew retires. Should we try to go after Dak? No, not for the money he asking. If he was asking for something less, then yeah, because I feel like he kind of similar to Teddy Bridgewater. Taysom will be playing for another team next year. That's interesting. Alvin Kamara had one bad year and was injured. Dude, come off of it. Yeah, he had one bad year, man, but I don't know. Like I said, I'm doing this based on what I see and the dependability of the position. Are you a LSU fan too? Yeah, man, I'm an LSU fan. I like LSU. My older brother, EJ, he's a huge LSU fan. So I always tell this story, I wanted to be so much like my big brother growing up. All I did was watch LSU stuff. And, I used to learn about LSU just so I can have conversations with him. So in the process, I became a fan. Dumb question, but What about Matthew Stafford? That ain't a bad pick. I like Matthew Stafford. I like him. Taysom wants to be a starting quarterback. He should. I mean, honestly, would y'all have respect for Taysom Hill if he came out and said, man, I'm happy with being a backup? I'm okay with that. I ain't got no problem with being a backup. Let's see. I'm going to read one more. AK is good, and I still believe in him, and hopefully week 1, we start off running. Yeah, I hope so, too. I think that Alvin Kamara, I think an injury did play a role. But the Saints got a lot of decisions to make. They got a lot of decisions to make, man. And hopefully they make the right ones. But this has been the State of the Saints podcast. We have went 2 hours, and I want to thank Iceman T for calling. Thanks for calling in and, chiming in, giving his comments. And we're going to do this, man. We're going to try to do it at least once a week where, people can call in, voice their opinion, sound off, tell me what you think. And I know we really going to have to subscribe to the channel. YouTube.com, search State of the Saints Podcast. Facebook.com, search State of the Saints Podcast. Also, check out State of the Game Podcast, where we talk about different topics in sports. We're going to be talking about the NBA tomorrow. I got my NBA correspondent, Brandon Thompson. He's going to be telling us about the All-Star break. Also going to be talking about the Pelicans, man, making a lot of noise. So y'all check that out. The State of the Game Podcast, YouTube.com, search The State of the Game, and it's also on Facebook at the. Thank y'all very much. Much love to you. Just thank you all for taking the time out to check it out. All the truck drivers out there that chimed in, all the regular people, Jerry Poor, Trey Sean, DLP 2600, man, just all y'all. Iceman, thank y'all. You know what I'm saying? Gigatis, all y'all. Thank y'all very much for sounding off, checking out this video on such short notice. And until next time, all I gotta say is, who that? Y'all take it easy.